Stephen A.
Yes, sir.
If Floyd wins, he's going to be 50-0. Okay? If he loses by miracle, he's 49-1. You cannot dispute that. You can't argue about whether or not it should be sanctioned.
I can't argue about it. I can't argue about it, and I will. I don't feel that he deserves to be 50-0 because he got in a ring with a man that had never been in a ring before as a boxer. You're not the only West Indian. You're not the only West Indian on this microphone, you know.
I know about you, Miss Steven.
You remember you know my West Indian roots. Come on now.
I know
you know it's all love. You know it's all love. You know it's all love. Go ahead.
But listen, let me tell you something. The reason why he should be sanctioned is because Colin's a fighter of some degree. Now, he's not in Floyd's caliber. He's not that caliber of fighter, but he, to some degree...
No, I'm not saying he's not a fighter. I'm not saying he's not a fighter, and I'm not saying he doesn't deserve our respect. I'm saying, as a boxer, he's never stepped into the ring with any other boxer in his career. So to go automatically to a champion who's undefeated and universally recognized as one of the greatest ever... It's sanctioned, but it's essentially a sanctioned exhibition.
Well, guess
when Ali fought a wrestler, he didn't have a wrestling record, and I don't think the wrestler counted it as a victory either.
The caveat to this one here, I agree with you. The caveat is that it's not a championship fight. So as long as it's just a regular fight, and they have 12 rounds, 3 minutes, but the glove size and everything else. Right? But it's also the intrigue. Right now, if Anthony Joshua were to fight Mike Tyson, right, if it was sanctioned, Mike Tyson doesn't belong in there with Anthony Joshua, but you would still watch it. It's the intrigue. That's going to bring it there on Saturday night.
We just respectfully disagree, Paul, but I appreciate it, man, and I appreciate the call. Thank you so much. Let's go to Ralph in Miami. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Ralph? Talk to me.
What's going on, Stephen A?
Go ahead, man. Raise that volume, bro. We can't sit up there and hear you if you're trying to sound like Marvin Gaye. God rest his soul. Raise that volume, bro. Go ahead.
Question is,
raise the voice. I can't hear you.
Isaiah Thomas getting traded for Kyrie. My thing is this: why is Boston giving away all their role players? They think they're gonna be better with just Kyrie and Gordon Hayward.
They didn't give away. The only role player they gave away basically was Crowder.
What about
they
Bradley?
Gave away a start. They gave away Crowder and Isaiah.
But they lost Bradley too, two of their best defenders.
Well, they didn't want to pay him. And not only that, you got Jaylen Brown on the come up, and they believe in him. So you got Jaylen Brown, you got Marcus Smart, who deserves some PT because he's an elite defender. Okay, you got him and Jaylen Brown. You added Gordon Hayward. You still have Al Horford. Now you got Kyrie. Okay. Kelly Olynyk left for Miami with you, but what I'm saying to you is that they have to sit up there and think about, Bradley was going to want some money down the hill. Isaiah Thomas was going to want that money.
I think the team,
and because he was only making $6.2 million, you had to include Crowder in the deal in order to make it work.
Believe it or not, teams that benefit the most out of this trade is Miami, Washington, and Toronto.
How?
Because these guys got weaker. But Boston got weaker. Cleveland's going to be weaker in a year.
Boston did not get weaker, and neither did Cleveland if LeBron stays.
If he stays.
Well, call me back when he leaves. But until he leaves, Cleveland didn't get weaker. And Boston certainly hasn't gotten weaker. And don't get me started on Washington. What have they done?
Washington could be Boston right now.
No, they can't. How you gonna say such nonsense? And they just finished losing to Boston with the crew they have. How you gonna say that?
I think John Wall's coming back stronger this year.
That ain't the point. What's that? What happened the last time you saw him?
You're right, but it took
which evidence? That's right. You giving me emotion. What happened in Game 7? Bradley Beal showed up and dropped 39. What happened to LeBron? I love John Wall, but what happened to him in the last 19 minutes?
You're right. Same thing that happened to James Harden.
And what happened to Scott Brooks? What happened to Scott Brooks? As much as I like him, choking instead of playing the rookie out of Kansas, Kelly Oubre. How you gonna put him on the bench and play him 1 minute?
You're right. They should have played Kelly Oubre.
No, don't call up here and talk about the Washington Wizards. Don't you dare. Have a nice day. Get it together. Want to hear that? I want to hear that. Unacceptable. Vaughn in Oakland. You're live with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. What's up, Vaughn?
Hey, thanks, Stephen A. for taking my
Go
call.
ahead, bro.
And I appreciate you taking my call. I've been trying to call you, man,
bro. Go
since
ahead.
January. But,
all right. What's going on?
Yeah, on this, the guy Carlton that called in, man, you know, I wish these people would show a lot of passion for blacks who be getting killed by cops. You know, cops got the name by pigs. You know, I'm from Oakland, and the Black Panthers, man, started the pigs because the pigs was brutal to blacks. That's how they got the name pigs. And when you act like a pig, you be called a pig.
Stop right there.
Now,
Stop right there. Stop, Vaughn, stop right there. Let me and you have a quick conversation, okay? Let me and you have a quick conversation. We know there's been brutality on the part of police officers, on the part of some police officers. Nobody's denying that, okay? But let's be honest about something, too. Very, very important, Vaughn, and I'm sure you will agree. We talk about police officers as if all of them white. There's Latino police officers. There's black police officers. And by the way, there are black criminals. Everybody ain't wrong all the time. Sometimes it is police brutality. Sometimes it's criminals. Sometimes it is a white police officer. In Baltimore, there were some black police officers involved in that, Vaughn, with the whole Freddie Gray situation. You feel where I'm coming from?
But I'm not that. I never said that, and I know all cops.
No, I'm not accusing. I'm not accusing you of saying. No, Vaughn, I'm not accusing you of saying that. I'm not accusing you of saying anything wrong. I'm just saying that you're telling one side, and so all I'm trying to do is give perspective as to the Carltons of the world and others also have a side. You ain't the only one with the side. Somewhere in the middle lies the truth. Both of y'all ain't right on extreme pendulums. That's all I'm trying to say.
But Stephen A.
Yes,
People
sir.
got to show passion when these blacks and Latinos is getting gunned down. But no, do they come to the table and stress their frustration?
Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something that's gonna make you highly upset, but you're gonna know it's the truth? But it's gonna make you highly upset, Vaughn. Are you ready for this?
Go ahead. I'm ready.
If white folks were suffering from police brutality, how many black folks would be in an uproar?
Not that many. I would concur. Not that many.
Right. So what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to say to you is, we have a heightened level of sensitivity because we're a disenfranchised community that's directly affected. Somebody who comes from a different community, whereas they may be sympathetic and empathetic, may not have the level of sensitivity that we have because they ain't black. So even though you're right about what you're wishing for, you and I both know that's a lot to ask because it's not something we would exercise either, because we relate to what directly affects and impacts us. So why do we abhor the inability for other folks to do the same from time to time? That's all I'm saying. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I got you on that. You know.
Vaughn, your voice faded. Do me a favor. Call back tomorrow. Let's talk about this a little bit more because I know I'm cutting you short and I apologize because we could barely hear you and I got a hard break. But I'll talk to you about it tomorrow, my brother. I promise, and I appreciate the call. 866-729-ESPN. Mikey Garcia, the super lightweight champion of the world, is up next to talk about Floyd and Conor and himself. Live right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio.
Guess what?
You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it!
Waiting to talk to this gentleman. He's got a few friends that know me well. Told me I needed to watch him. And that's exactly what I did. And boy, is he impressive. I'm talking about the super lightweight champion of the world. He is 37-0 with 30 KOs. His name is Mikey Garcia. And he's on the line with us right now. What's going on, man? How are you?
What's up, my man? I'm good. Thank you.
Hey, man.
Pleasure being on the show, man.
Well, first of all, thank you for coming on the show, A, and B, congratulations to all your success. I mean, listen, put it in perspective. I mean, when people say, who's Mikey Garcia? Where did this guy come from? How would you answer that question?
Well, I'm just a kid from Oxnard, now living in Moreno Valley, and just doing my job inside of the ring. That's all that it really is.
You know, when people look at you, and I mean, you know, we haven't heard much about you until, especially you beat up Adrian Broner. You know, your activity, obviously, you know, I picked you to win that fight because Adrian Broner didn't seem to like to throw too many punches. He seems a bit lazy in the ring in terms of activity. That certainly is not your problem. You're certainly going to throw some punches. Going into that fight on July 29th, what was your mentality? What did you think you needed to do to win the fight? And how did you feel about your overall performance in that fight?
Well, you know what? We had a great camp with my brother Robert and my dad Eduardo. You know, we had 10 weeks of camp to get ready, and we had a good strategy, a good game plan. We felt that Adrian Broner would be a stronger opponent based on size, and you know, he's got great skills also. So we needed to make sure that we had a good game plan, which was to box smart, you know, be effective with the combinations, not just rely on one punch, you know, for the night. So, and that's what we worked on. And as the rounds, you know, started in the fight, I started picking up the pace little by little as the rounds progressed. I picked up the volume even more. And then it was, I think, like the 9th, 10th round when my brother told me, look, the fight is basically won. Let's not get, you know, too excited over anything here. Adrian Broner's going to come with everything he has because he knows he's losing. So be careful, be smart. Just pick up the volume, punch even more, pick combinations, but this time box on the outside, walk backwards, circle around him, and just keep winning the rounds like that, scoring points. And that's what we did. So I was actually very, very happy with the performance. I think I showed, you know, the fans and the media, you know, another side of what I'm able to do inside a boxing ring.
Undefeated super lightweight champion Mikey Garcia is live right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. Now, let me ask you this question. Where do you consider yourself at this point in time in your career? Lightweight, junior, welterweight. Where are you? Where do you consider yourself to be? Where do you want to fight for the immediate future?
Well, I think I'm pretty flexible between lightweight and super lightweight. You know, 135 and 140 seem to be pretty comfortable weights for me right now. I feel comfortable. The only difference is that at 140 pounds, I'm fighting bigger men, which, you know, in turn might be able to hold up, you know, longer and stronger, and I may not be able to hurt them as easy, but I feel fast, I feel strong. I think, you know, 135 and 140 are very good divisions for me.
Well, I asked you that question, Mikey, because here we are. You've got this kid in the junior lightweight division at 130 pounds. His name is Vasyl Lomachenko, who's considered one of the best in the world, and you got a promoter like Bob Arum calling him the best boxer since Muhammad Ali. The guy's like an amateur record of 396-1. That's why he's a champion with only 10 fights on his resume. But up in weight division, the junior welterweight division, you got somebody widely considered one of the best in the world right now in Terrence Crawford. So who do you believe you're more suited to fight? Because at 37-0 with 30 KOs, those are two of the biggest names in boxing, and where you are weight-wise, clearly you should be fighting one of them. Which one would it be if you had your preference?
Well, at 135 pounds, if Lomachenko is ready to move up to 135, I'm ready to take on that challenge there. If Crawford decided to stay at 140 one more time, you know, I'd also be, you know, happy to jump in the ring with him. But being realistic about things, being that they're with Top Rank, my former promoter, who has not had any nice things to say about me in the past few weeks, I really doubt that those fights can be made, at least not for the moment, you know, anytime soon.
Well, I'll tell you this much. Somebody got to make a fight with you because you're 37-0 with 30 KOs. I want to hear that nonsense. I mean, I understand where you coming from, but I'm going to have to talk to Top Rank. I'm going to have to talk to a few people about that because Mikey Garcia, listen, you 37-0 with 30 KOs. I want to see you in the ring with the best. That's me. So I definitely, there's no question. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's what I want. You know, that's what I want. I want to be in there with the best. That's what I told everybody. You know, after my long layoff, you know, I would return, come back stronger than ever, and take on the biggest names, the biggest challenges available. In only my second fight, I fought for a world title, lightweight world title, against an undefeated, you know, KO artist in Dijon. Now, you know, we fought Adrian Broner at 140 pounds, who he's been champion in 4 different divisions. He's been champion all the way up to welterweight. You know, so I want to take big challenges, and I'm ready and I'm prepared to do that.
But the quick question, I need a quick answer on this before I get to some other stuff. Quick answer on this. Where is your preference? Do you want to fight as a lightweight and a champion in that division, or do you want to fight at the junior welterweight division? Where do you want to go?
Honestly, I don't have a preference. The biggest fight available at either 135 or 140, that's what I'm going to take.
Got you. Mikey Garcia, super lightweight champion, right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. Now let's get to this Floyd Money Mayweather, Conor McGregor fight. You're a boxer. How do you feel about the fact that one of the all-time greats like Money Mayweather is even allowing a guy like Conor McGregor, a UFC champion, a champion no doubt, a fighter extraordinaire, but somebody who's never boxed professionally before? How do you as a boxer feel about a fighter the caliber of Mayweather allowing somebody who's never boxed professionally to get in the ring with him?
Look, I think he's earned everything he has accomplished in a boxing ring, and because of that, I think he's allowed to do what he's doing and fighting McGregor because it just makes sense for the show, for the business side. I don't quite agree that it should count on the record as another victory, because he's really not fighting a boxer. But, I mean, it's politics and business, and I understand that, which a lot of fans and other boxing, viewers won't understand. But I understand why the fight's happening, and, I'm okay with it. It's history in the making, two sports joining together. It's going to be a show, and that's what you want to, know that you're buying into this.
What do you think is going to happen?
I think Floyd wins. Whatever he wants to do, I think Floyd can carry him as many rounds as he wants, and I'm actually thinking very, very highly chance. I think Floyd takes him 12 rounds and allows Conor to be, successful a few moments, a few rounds, just to make the fight a little more fun and a little exciting and possibly even land a rematch.
Do you think that McGregor, with his size, his power, and the techniques that could be employed by UFC fighters in terms of their, when you're holding and grappling and things of that nature, the kind of things a hell of a lot better than most that happens in the sport of boxing. Do you think any of those things give him a chance to pull off a miracle?
No. No. He will bring out, different angles, different punching combinations because he's a different fighter. And that might give Floyd, some trouble early on because he's not used to certain punches and coming from different angles, like I'm saying. But Floyd is just the best boxer that I've ever seen, and he'll make the adjustments quick and be able to take control of the fight, right away.
So you don't think it's going to be a knockout? You think it's going to be a decision?
I don't think it'll be a knockout. I think Mayweather will win a decision.
I got you. Mikey Garcia, proud of you, man. Keep up the great work. 37-0 with 30 KOs. Super lightweight champion of the world. Mikey Garcia live with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. Thanks a lot, buddy. Good luck in the future, and I'll be talking to you soon.
Thanks, Stephen. Pleasure to be on the show.
No problem, buddy. The one and only Mikey Garcia right here with Stephen A. ESPN Radio, 866-729-ESPN. That's 866-729-3776. You don't know him. He's not a box office name. But I wanted him on this show because, damn it, he's good. And I watched him beat Broner. And I watched him outwork him. And I watched this dude destroy everybody else that's come within his face. And I looked at Vasily Lomachenko. And I said, hey, the way he's abusing that division, it would be nice to see him fight a Mikey Garcia. I'm looking at a Terrence Crawford. Probably not so much against Mikey Garcia because Terrence Crawford's looking to move up, whereas Mikey Garcia would have to move up to fight him, which I don't think would necessarily be wise because Terrence Crawford is something special. Just like I wouldn't encourage, as great as Terrence Crawford is, to step up and fight Errol Spence Jr., my favorite right now. Actually, let me take that back because I love me some Andre Ward, but that's just me.
Want to be a part of the show? Hit Stephen A. up weekdays from 1 to 3 Eastern at 866-729-3776.
Guess what?
You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it!
Let's go to Sergio in the Bronx. You're live with Stephen A. Go ahead, Sergio.
Yeah, I listen to your show every day, and I just wanted to comment on that dude Carlton. I think he's the prime example of why Caucasians shouldn't comment on certain things. He's talking about being offended about some socks. I'm offended every time a brother and sister is murdered at the hands of law enforcement and nothing happens. We're talking about, he's talking about socks.
Can I ask you a question, though? I get your point, and you're right, but can I ask you a question real quick, Sergio?
Sure.
Would you rather folks shut up and never let you know how they feel?
No,
No, of course not. I love it.
But that's what I'm saying. In other words, what I'm saying is, I'm saying respect the disagreement. In other words, because now you know what you're pointing to. You know, you're enlightened. You're better and more enlightened now than you were before he called, because you got a different perspective that you don't like, that you don't approve of, that you don't agree. But now you can articulate your points why. So when you call up and you make that point, and it's piggybacking off the point that he made, it's far more profound because you just ain't whistling into the wind. You have a position to take against a position that somebody else had. You see what I'm saying?
Right. I just don't really think his position really holds any weight or any value. He's talking about stocks.
Well,
so I'm offended that people's lives are being taken. Just
symbols,
like
symbols contribute to people's lives being taken. Symbols contribute to people's lives being taken. That's the problem.
Even with Kaepernick's protest and, people being offended at that, at the end of the day, it's a piece of cloth and a song. We're talking about people's lives, which is more important.
Good point. I hear you, and I appreciate the call. Thank you. Nick, you're live with Stephen A. Real quick, Nick, go ahead.
Hey, what's up, Stephen A.? I just wanted to ask you about the whole Kyrie trade. It seems like the Cavs kind of robbed the Celtics, but what I'm intrigued with is that number one pick. Do you think Cleveland will flip it around to get someone to help LeBron?
Who knows?
Season,
Who knows? We'll see it. We don't know. We have to wait to see how the season unfolds. Cleveland has the option to do a lot of things with it. Having that number one pick, having that first round pick that could turn into the number one pick because it's a pick that belonged to the Brooklyn Nets and we expect them to stink. Obviously, is something that could be very attractive to various teams out there. So we'll have to see what happens. But I don't think Boston got robbed. I think both teams improved themselves with this trade, personally. Thanks for the call. Jordan, you're live with Stephen A. Real quick. Go ahead.
Again, another NBA season predictable. Cavs and the Warriors predicted 7 games, and that's more we're going to see how it's all going to fall out then. And one question I always wanted to ask you because I'm a big fan of it. For the last 18 years I've been a fan of Young and Restless, who do you think is the better villain? Victor Newman or your boy from
Sonny Corinthos? No, not Sonny Corinthos from General Hospital. First of all, both of those.
Yeah, General Hospital. There you go.
They're both my boys. But I would tell you, it would be Victor Newman because Victor Newman is not as lovable as Sonny. Sonny, you can hate him 1 minute, fall in love with him the next. Victor, the venom towards him is consistent. So, both of them are phenomenal. Both of them are great. I'm a part of the General Hospital. My character's name is Brick. I got a recurrent role. I just taped some scenes last week. Sonny Corinthos, a.k.a. Maurice Bernard, that's my brother. That's my man. But Victor Newman, a.k.a. Eric Braden, he's universally hated consistently more. Where Sonny, the ladies love Sonny, everything loves him, and it goes back and forth. So who knows? But I got your point. Got to get on out of here. I'll holler at y'all 22 hours from now. Until then, peace and love.
That's just a sample of what you'll hear on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM Channel 80 and the ESPN app.